I think what's happening here is, again, ultimately personal. I have no command of melody, and in fact, no command of music, to be perfectly honest. I'm a dilettante, and I think the luck that I have had that during the 90s I was able to put out music was largely due to collaboration. And the way I have come to think of music but also instruments is through my personal musical experience with artists that looked more at the, I guess, at the whole output, the whole result, the whole song, the mix, the everything, including, like, you know, the whole thing that arrives at the end as the output, as the result. And if that's the way you think about it, then the level of nuance that you apply and the sort of frontier that you are pushing as you get better, as you're achieving flow, is just in a different sort of system of coordinates. You're not getting better at articulating a note. You're getting better at articulating a song, a mix, a state. And therefore, for live, it was much more about turning the static notion of the studio as a thing that, you know, composes time into something that's much more liquid and malleable. So that's where I guess we misused the instrument term, or try to bend the definition a little bit. And I don't know if that's the same for Carla, but I could imagine that there's a similarity here because you come from an academic tradition that maybe is also more interested in sort of addressing the sound first. Is it?
Why, yes. Yes. Yeah, for me, the very, very early electronic music pieces that were like by Stockhausen and Berio and Xenakis made it clear that electronic music was something radically different from any music that had come before. It was music that was working very directly and concretely with sound, composing sound itself, exactly as you're describing. And it wasn't about going through this intermediate step of writing a score and having instruments play the sound. It was using sound like a filmmaker uses images. And just like film became its own art form with its own language, quite independent from live theater or plays, I think electronic music has become its own art form. It has its own language, and it's separate from other music.